What's going on, everybody? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Advice with Anthony. I'm going to give some folk a few minutes to come on and we're going to get started. I'm here tonight in my home and I'm going to talk about family tonight. So, I've got my family in the background. I did that so that you could hear a family house going on because it's so important to have a family environment, especially in this day and time. So I got nieces and nephews, great nieces and nephews over tonight. I got my family stirring around on purpose, and my granddaughter, and just putting that whole family vibe in the house. I'm gonna wait for some folk to come on for a minute. How's everybody doing tonight? It's Friday night. Hopefully, you guys are finish your work day and your work evening. And we're just going to talk a little bit about family. So, make sure I've got all my technology set up. And we'll get started in just a minute. See some people come on and see what's going on with them. And we'll do this. So, yeah, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Anthony. This is my YouTube channel, Advice with Anthony. Let me explain to you a little bit about what Advice with Anthony is all about. Um, some years ago, my nephews, nieces, and they're all adults now. Um, I've always tried to pour into their life. Um, I've always been a firm believer of owning the business, um, owning what you have, not necessarily going to work for somebody if you can help it. Use that as a tool, as a stepping stone, as a platform. But at the end of the day, own the company. I've instilled that in my children. I instill that in my household, my family. I try to be a leader of that. My wife and I have had several businesses of our own. And so some years ago, when my nieces and nephews were very young, I used to make them stand up in front of me and do job interviews and presentations, and on the fly I would give them things to do. One of my nephews in particular, he always reminds me. I used to give him a pillow, and I'd tell him, okay, now take this pillow and sell it to me. And so they got trained, and we had a good time and passing it around and getting them to embellish the value of the pillow to get me to want to spend my money on that pillow. So those are some of the things that I did, and I called it advice because I used to tell them people will give you plenty of advice. But advice, in my opinion, is when somebody wants you to do what they want you to do with your life, as opposed to what you want to do with your life and what you should do with your life, whether it's something they've done with their life or something that didn't work out in their life that should have, but they don't want to advise you of that because they want to live vicariously through you. And so I told them that's why I'm calling it advice, because I'm going to take me out of the picture and I'm going to give you the best possible advice for the situation that you can have. And that's what we need to do these days. We don't need to, people don't want to hear what you think they should do. I certainly, yeah, you ever had somebody, and if you can hear in the background, my granddaughter's coming through, and that's my heart, and she just running her mouth. So tonight you're gonna have to listen to the backgrounds of granddaughter and nieces and all that good stuff, since we're talking about family. Um, but have you ever had somebody that's always got a better idea than the one that's in your head, the vision that's in your head. If you've had some people like that, just hit the comments. Let me know so I can see what kind of experience you've had. I know for me, everybody's always got a better picture of what you want to do for your vision. So first of all, how do you know the vision that's in my head? You don't know the vision in my head. So how can you possibly give me a better vision? You can give me advice about it, but you can't give me my vision because my vision is mine. Now, if you want to give me some constructive criticism and some good ideas, then be big enough for me to take your ideas. And if I choose not to use them, you don't need to get in your feelings about it. But that's what happens, especially with family. So tonight, we're just talking about family, but I wanted to give you a little snippet of what advice was. So when you come on the channel, you're gonna get advice, in my opinion. My opinion is not always right, but if you looked at some of my snippets and my shorts, you'll see that I might not always be right, but I'm never wrong. And hey, I am a genius, but there's some things I don't know. So these are just my thoughts. And guess what? They may change tomorrow. So hey, it's going to be a great journey. This is what we're doing. It's Advice with Anthony. Tonight we talking about family. Okay, so let's get in it. Let's get in it. I got my notes here. Um, let's see what we got going on. One of the things that I put on my notes is, when you're dealing with family, you got all kinds of personalities, you got all kinds of attitudes, you got different education levels, uh, different backgrounds, different upbringings. You have different geographical locations, different cultures. Um, you may marry into completely different cultures and things like that. Um, so you will encounter a lot of different issues that go on in a family. You got to learn how to navigate through those things. And it can be difficult. Everybody's not, when you're young, everybody's the same. Your siblings are all in the same house. Stuff may go on. Let's just be real. Sometimes parents treat other children differently from the others. This begins to develop uh, different types of emotions growing up. Now, I'm a firm believer, and I'm going to upset some people about some stuff. But guess what? It's just my opinion. It may change tomorrow. And always remember, I might not always be right, but I'm never wrong. So, that being said, hey, just because you have an opinion and a strong uh, belief about something doesn't mean everybody's got to jump on your bandwagon. Okay, and this is where we run into problems, especially with family. Now, not all families. Some families are doing well, and guess what? God bless those families that nobody has issues with. But let's be real. Most of our families these days, people got issues going on. And you got to learn to address those issues because if you don't, at the end of the day, life is too short, guys. It's too short. So, one of the things that I'm trying to hit on tonight is being the bigger person. Okay. Now, I can say for me, the older I've gotten, the more I've gotten to a place where I'm trying to let things go and I'm trying to be the bigger person. Now, when I was younger, that was a whole different world. I'm just going to be real. It's a whole different world. But now that I'm older, I understand that life, the value of life. Young people don't understand the value of life like they should. And I'm only saying that because guess what? Simple phrase. I remember when I was young, I didn't understand the value of it. An old person couldn't tell me nothing. But the older I got, the more I started realizing, these people got something to say. So I started listening. And when I say the older I got, I started listening in my 20s because I wanted to know what wisdom was trying to bring to the table. Now, I've had many debates with some old folks, and they have kind of shut me down because I thought I've got the answers, you know, and I didn't have the answers, but I was never wrong. And some of them got pretty mad at me about that. But you know what? They got around it. They knew that was just me. That's gonna be me till the day I die. That's just who I am. So I learned to listen to the wisdom of older people. And the older I get, I start to realize, you know, there's no reason to have stuff going on between family. So you got to learn to be the bigger person. And to be the bigger person, you have got to understand how to have some love in your heart. You cannot be a bigger person with malice and hatred and anger in your heart. It just ain't gonna happen, y'all. It's not gonna happen. And guess what? Your family's talking about you. They're talking about you. They're not going to tell you they're talking about you. And those that will tell you, they're not going to tell you in good context. And y'all going to be fighting out on the grass. And what's that going to prove? Because what's going to happen? The cops going to show up. They not going to ask no questions. And both of y'all going to jail, or all five of y'all, or however many is out on that grass rolling. So listen, let's learn to be bigger people with family. It, you got to mend fences. You got to. Tragedies happen. Everything's going on in this world today. You got to learn how to go, you know what? The heck with it. I know I'm right, but they don't see it that way. And you know what? It ain't worth me not having a relationship with my brother, my sister, my mother, my uncle, my aunt. Now, look, I'm not. I like to try to cover as much as I can both ways. There are some situations where family just ain't. They not giving in. I get that. But you know what? The big deal is let your heart be clear at the end of the night. They don't want to deal with you no more. You get it off your chest. You said what you got to say. You tried to mend the fences. You were the bigger person. Now you can go to sleep at night. Let me give you some advice. If you're going to sleep and you know you are laying down with evil in your heart and you've done some wrong stuff to some people or to some family members, and you can sleep well, man, shame on you. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Yeah, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Because if you can sleep like that, you got serious issues going on and you need to deal with them issues. And if you hang out with me, I might just give you some advice that can fix them issues. All right, so let's look at something else. Let's see what I got here. What else I got? Listen, that's a good one. Stop lying to yourself. Ain't nobody caring about the lies you tell to yourself that you try to tell to us. How many people got some family members? They always got a story, and you already know that story ain't hitting on nothing. But they lie so much that they believe the story. At the end of the day, who you fooling? When you look in that mirror, who you fooling? It ain't worth it, y'all. We got to get it together, family, especially as a people and as a culture. Listen, I'm going to be talking about all kinds of cultures and races on here: white, black, blue, pink, purple. But tonight, I'm talking about the culture, the black culture. I'm talking about in particular tonight. Okay, we got to get it together. Because guess what? Let's be real. I try to address what's real, in my opinion. Ain't nobody caring. Ain't nobody else caring about what we're not doing. I'm originally from New York. And let me tell you something. You can go to any part of New York and you can find a town, an area, a city, a block that has nothing but one culture in it. And that culture takes care of itself. On it. That culture is going to continue to look out for its kind. Like we as black people are always searching and struggling and striving for equal rights and integration. I'm not knocking that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it. My opinion, I think we need to be a segregated people in an integrated world. That's what we got to be. Segregated, functioning in an integrated world, because every other culture does it and we don't do it. I got friends from all walks of life and from every culture. I have some foreign friends, I have some Asian friends. I hang out with them. And you know what? I never see them in Walmart. I never see them in the restaurants. Oh, they may have and own a few of them. And if they're not just in their own, I never see them in other restaurants. But when I'm riding with them, you know where I see them? I see them in stores of their own culture. I'm still talking about family. Yeah, I'm just going a little deeper with it. I'm still talking about family because they take care of family. When are we as a people going to take care of family? And it starts within your own house. But yeah, I see them. That's what they do. They're gonna shop at a grocery store that's owned by somebody that looks like them. Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna get their clothes from a place that's owned by people that look like them. They're gonna eat out the restaurant from a place that look like them. We as a people are the only ones who won't do that. But why? Why do we want to hold on to what has been etched in our ancestors' brain at some level and continue that process of segregation that they have instilled? And I'm not making this a racial show. I'm still talking about family. Why? Because those same habits happens with family. You got family members that own businesses, and you ain't even eating at your own family member's establishment. You won't even patronize your own auntie's little chicken shop. You don't want to patronize your uncle's suit shop, his knockoff spot, his corner store, his gas station. We ain't going there. We going down the road and we'll pay 2 or 3 times more money just because we don't want to show auntie, uncle, brother, sister that we support you. Come on, people, family, we got to get it together. We got to stop talking about it and we got to start being about it. And I'm the first one to tell you that I was guilty. I used to not do it. Now I do the best I can to put my dollar back into my own community. One of the people that helped me to look at that in a different light was my cousin Cortland. He's got a movement called Project X, and he's got a lot of things going on. He's the president of hip hop up in New York. Y'all need to check him out. He's doing big things. And I used to go down to the Bronx and I used to be invited to his Project X events where he was trying to bridge gaps and was bridging gaps for us as a culture to be able to patronize and do business with one another. It was a beautiful thing. And so he got my mind really running on really doing those things and not just talking about it. So that's something that I'm putting out. I'm hoping that everybody gets to see and that they get to experience and be a part of, because everybody else is doing it. Why are we so slow on the bandwagon, y'all? We need to get that moving. Stop talking. What good is it sitting around the house talking about something that you ain't gonna do? Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Act like you know. I had a friend in New York. Shout out to Kendall Effort, one of my fellow supervisor friends up there in the post office. We used to work together, friend of the family. And she used to say all the time, let's act like we know. Come on, why are we playing games? We'll sit there at Thanksgiving, sit around each other for hours and talk about what we should be doing. And all the while, you know, you giving your money to somebody else when your cousin over there got the same product that you need, but you refuse to give him 20 bucks. Come on. Come on, let's put it right where it's at and be real with it. So anyway, that's my number two. Stop lying to yourself. Number three, stop living the lie. One of the most pitiful things in the world that I've seen is a family member that's lying and the whole family know you lying. But because they love you, they don't say nothing. Because they're trying to spare your feelings, they let you do what you do. And you live in it. And you live in a life that's not yours. When you go home empty. You go home hurt. You go home unfulfilled. You go home lacking. And you go home lonely. When you got family that can rally around you and can be there for you. At the end of the day, that family don't care what you got going on and don't got going on. If somebody break in your house or you call up your family members and tell them somebody on the street and they beating you up, family getting in the car in droves and they coming. Y'all could have just fought the night before. See, you could talk all you want about what you don't like about your family and how you don't like this one or you don't like that one. And like I said, you got to be a pretty evil person to be that malicious to say, hey, my cousin can be getting his head bashed in and I ain't gonna move. Come on, you really got some stuff going on if that's what you're thinking in your head. But see, you know how it was back in the day. I can talk about my family, but you better not talk about them. What happened to that, people? My people, what happened to that? We need to do better. We have to do better. We are going to do better. We are doing better. That's what it is. So stop living the lie. Come on, let that go. We getting too old. Life's too short. Tragedies happening. There's mass shootings. There's everything. Nowadays, everybody's got somebody in their family, friends that they're used to being around, that they're familiar with, that they know, that knows somebody or is close to somebody. And we can no longer say, I never thought that would happen to me. We're in a world and a society now that something has happened to somebody in your family or your friends or their friends that you know. You're connected to somebody that has had a tragedy that they thought, I would have never thought that happened to somebody in my family, but it did. Stop living the lie. But you are wearing that out. That was one of my other thoughts I had on my notes. You're wearing it out. The reality is you're looking pitiful. You're looking real pitiful because everybody see it to the point where people are feeling sorry for you. And again, you're going home lonely. Come on, family. Come on, family. Talk to me. We can't go out like this. Most of our family members got underlying illnesses. COVID and everything else is taking them out. We can't live like this, people. We got to do better. We've got to learn to forgive. We've got to learn to love. We've got to learn to agree to disagree without conflict. We got to have conflict resolution. We got to be able to do that, people. We got to get somewhere. We already know, and I'm going to go out with this. We already know the obstacles against us. We already know the things of this world, this life, this society. We already know what's against us, whether it's racism politics, people on the job, jealousy. We already know all that as a people. And since we know that, then we need to start accomplishing the things that we can control. We already get that. This is why I believe in that we should be a segregated people living in an integrated world. Because we already know what's against us, but we're continuing to not do the things that we can control, the things that they're not hindering us with. I can't even go to some areas on the block without being worried about my own people taking me out. I shouldn't have to live like that. I should be able to walk down the street. I should be able to walk through Walmart without another brother mean mugging me or sizing me up and not even speaking. Come on, my people, family. That old saying, and a lot of people say, oh man, that's corny now. It takes a village. It does. But where the village go? We got to get back there. Because let me explain something to you. If you think, and this is my opinion, may change tomorrow, but today, if you think that this world that we call America is not going towards a downward spiral into a chaotic type of America, you're fooling yourself. We got to be prepared. We've got to learn how to, and I know you hear everybody else say it. Well, guess what? If everybody else is saying it, you think we ought to jump on the bandwagon? I'm guilty. I'm behind the curve. We got to be able to start growing our own products and surviving and sustaining ourselves. Because in a minute, the powers that be are going to start controlling some things. And guess what? People that look like us, we ain't controlling that. But we can control ourselves. And we can even learn, and I know some of my people ain't going to like this. We can even learn how to exist and deal with them and not have any malice in our heart about them. Some of y'all don't feel that way, and I'm not mad at you. But at the end of the day, hey, this is what I need to do to sleep at night. So I'm saying to you all, families, let's do better. Let's do better, families. So that's Advice with Anthony. My nieces and nephews, where y'all at? Holla at me. I'm here. We doing it. Advice with Anthony. That's all I got for everybody tonight. We're going to talk to you again real soon. Hit me up in the comment section. If you got a topic, we're going to talk about it. I was being real cool tonight, but we're going to get into some deep stuff really soon. All right. Be safe. Peace and blessings to everybody. Don't forget to give the man some thanks for everything he's done for you. Whoever that man is to you is God to me. Don't forget to give him some thanks for the blessings that you got in your life. Advice with Anthony. Get at me.